Hello, friends, Earth citizens, and fellow fringe dwellers. Thank you for tuning in again. This video will be a little different than the others. It's just me talking about a dream that I had when I was, between the ages of 7 to 9 years old, approximately. And this dream I forgot about for most of my life growing up, but it was a very emotional dream, and it's very relevant to my alien contact uh, later in life, starting around 2018, that picked up again, and then here we are. So, in the dream, I was looking at the a window of an upstairs bathroom in the first house that I lived in as a child growing up. And in this dream, it was very vivid. It seemed very real. I was looking out at the backyard with a green grassy lawn at the time, and there were some trees, kind of a wall of tall trees, um, behind a fence in the backyard. So I could see some of the clear blue or open sky. And in the dream, I was looking out the window, and then all of a sudden I noticed this massive, massive black sphere. I knew it was a spaceship of some sort. With and it literally was a big dark sphere with kind of like in hemispheres or latitudes around it, rings, kind of like levels, and each level had different colorful flashing lights and lights that go around, were circling around it in a blinking pattern. And when I saw the spaceship in the dream, I knew somehow, as even a child mind in a dream, that it was kind of mesmerizing, but at the same time, I also knew that it was um, not good, or at least I had a natural panic reaction of fear when I saw it. So it was something that apparently my subconscious mind had recognized before, and when I saw it, I knew that someone or something was coming to get me. And after that, in the dream, I ran through the house I was in at the time and actually climbed into a washing machine for washing clothes, and I closed the door, thinking that even if they came into the house, they wouldn't be able to see me there. Anyway, in this dream, I really felt terror, and I didn't actually think much of this dream for years. And then in early 2019, I started to recall this dream again, just thoughts of it and memories of it started to float to the surface of my mind as I was doing activities and going on trips and things with the UFO I team, and getting involved in a lot of ufology culture and studying UFOs and aliens quite regularly. And so this dream surfaced, and then I did a little bit of hypnosis type work, to tap into my subconscious again and reconnect with the dream and see if it was something very significant or relevant and what it means. And of course, it was. It was when I revisited the dream, I could feel my physical heart just beating, palpitating, and um, beating quickly, as if I was actually in a terrified panic. And that's one thing I'd like to address in this video is I've heard from other experiencers, especially some who have dealt with some Greys, whether they're the same group or not, um, they had this same reaction, and I was originally a little bit unsure whether or not to accept it, a little bit scared, and just not knowing what was going on in 2018 after they visited me again. But I believe they've been visiting me since early childhood, probably, um, maybe since even before birth, if that makes any sense. And this fear reaction that happens, especially with gray experiencers and some other alien experiencers, it does not necessarily mean that the experience was of an evil or malevolent entity. This fear reaction is the subconscious, a mechanism within the subconscious, kind of like a defense mechanism to set up a fearful state whenever you see these beings again or they get close and you know that they're coming, because for some reason your subconscious mind just knows they're not good for you or you're scared of them. And the reason for that is not that they are evil necessarily, not all of them. It depends from case to case, but the reason for that is that, I mean, when you look closely at some of the details of common gray aliens, they are somewhat creepy. I mean, if you were to actually recreate them in detail and see them up close again without having memory wiped or suppressed, then yeah, they are kind of creepy. Because they're not like normal humans that we're all used to seeing on Earth, because their species has just very large black eyes, and sometimes those eyes aren't even black. The blackness, depending on the species and the group, is actually a lens. It's a technology that allows them to visit us and see in our light spectrum, perhaps in other light spectrums that maybe the lens allows them to see. I don't know how that technology works, but it's a lens for many of them. Some of them actually do have large black eyes, pure black eyes with no whites. And their head is also, well, typically much larger than ours, their cranium. Um, and some of them are a little more rounded than others. Some of them are larger than others. It depends, but yeah, they also have small mouths. And one thing I've learned is that their demeanor for many of them is comes off as sometimes evil or just very cold. Um, it really depends on the person, the contactee, and the group and the species. Some are more enlightened than others. Some are less enlightened or less evolved, and some groups of greys are um, very benevolent in a way. They don't actually hurt people, but some of their actions at times come off as being very cold and almost robotic, as if they don't actually have much emotion. And that's not that they don't have spirits or souls or emotions sometimes, um, but more that they they're very mission oriented beings, just like many other races. And when they have a mission to accomplish, which may be to visit and check up on regularly, or maybe even implant something into one of their friends, and that doesn't have to be another gray alien. It can be a human, what we call a human, um, because some of us contactees are souls and spirits who have lived with them, the groups that contact us, on their planets, in their existence, their technology, their dimension. And so, because some of us have had those lifetimes and involvement with them on a soul level, we incarnate as humans and generally don't remember that because it's such a different realm. However, yeah, I will admit that it's not easy to remember your existence from alien lifetimes. It takes a lot of training for most people. Um, but I have, throughout my life, quite often sensed that I am either connected to or have come from some other dimension or a different place, and that there's a lot more than just the dense world that we live in. So why that's why some people get afraid of grays at first, especially when they first seem to contact you, or usually as like teenager, young adult, or adult when they come back to check up on you, and then you realize that you may have been missing time, that battery failures happen that aren't supposed to happen, various things like that. When you start to realize that and see the evidence that you have had contact with beings from outside of Earth's atmosphere that are very intelligent, then the first phase is to start questioning it, actually, to start questioning your own sanity and whether or not you might be going crazy or making some of it up. But then, after it doesn't go away and you see more and more of the evidence, you come to read more and more testimonies and other people's experiences and listen to other experiencers. Then the next phase is to start to question it and also come to accept it and come to accept that there probably is life outside of Earth that's intelligent or somewhat evolved and sentient, and that this is not impossible. And then after you start to accept it, you can then regain some more of your memories and get more clarity on what the situation is, what happened, what they may have done or taught you, and also who they are, how many of them, and that will end up teaching you more about who you are as a soul and being and your relationship to them. And quite often people learn a lot about why they are involved with a race of gray-skinned extraterrestrials, and what this purpose is, and that can vary quite often for monitoring the development and consciousness evolution of humans. And it is kind of like, in a way, they are chaperones to certain individuals who have soul contracts with them. So please, if you have these sorts of contacts with greys, with other beings, mantis beings, reptilians, and almost any kind of being you can even imagine actually exists out there, don't be afraid of it. You probably are not crazy. It's okay to think that, though, but just go easy on yourself. And then don't seek out a conventional, I suggest you don't seek out a conventional psychiatrist because you think you're crazy, but search on the internet and read books and look into, uh, get get other people's perspectives, um, widening your own perspective and seeing how other people's experiences um, may intermesh with yours. Maybe you've seen similar technologies, maybe you've seen the same beings or had similar types of experiences, time slips, missing time, um, phasing through walls, being just beamed up or something. We live in a fantastic world, so please do not give up and do not lose hope. Don't be afraid of this because contact will be picking up. Contact is picking up, and that is a given. We cannot stop that. It will continue, and that is part of their mission. Missions, I should say, to support human consciousness evolution. And as we go through these years of major changes on our planet to help us evolve into higher timelines and ascend as a species, then yeah, we're going to see a lot more of them until disclosure happens. And personal disclosure, not government disclosure. I can talk more about that type of disclosure and these experiences perhaps in another video. I do hope that this video and my sharing helps individuals and experiencers and contactees who have had similar experiences as I have with gray entities, enlightened grays, and mantis beings who tend to be all very highly evolved entities as a race, and perhaps other extraterrestrials on whatever part of the spectrum you might find them on of consciousness and enlightenment and evolution. So please stay connected, stay safe, take care of yourself.